Jim Secord will give the next presentation on different devices, different experiences. Jim Secord is the CEO of Cashew, a simple cloud accounting tool built with small businesses in mind. Cashew is now the Apple App Store's most downloaded iPad accounting app and boasts over 150,000 registered users.
Hi everyone, I'm Jim Secord, CEO of Cashew Cloud Accounting, and I want to welcome you to the Business After Windows conference. Today, I'm going to be talking about different devices and different experiences, and the process we went through at Cashew to really design our application to run on any platform that was connected to the cloud, whether it was a smartphone, a tablet, a desktop PC, soon to be watches, and really re-envision what experiences would be for users who are using these different devices. I'm going to focus on 6 things that we learned when we built Cashew Cloud Accounting. Before we jump in though, I thought it would be helpful to give a little bit of background on Cashew. Cashew is a cloud accounting application that's designed for small businesses between 1 and 10 employees. It runs on your iPad, it runs on your iPhone, your desktop, soon your Android device, and not the too distant future, probably your Apple Watch as well. Over 200,000 businesses use Cashew, spanning across 120 different countries. Cashew's the #1 accounting application in the Apple's iTunes store, as well as several other app stores and marketplaces. Let's take a look at the application, and then I'm going to go back and talk about the 6 factors that went into designing it.
Run your business anytime, anywhere with Cashew. It's all at your fingertips. Customize your invoices, make them reflect your business. Manage your expenses and those pesky receipts by capturing them on the go. Mobile record keeping. Financial data and reports you need for your business. From profit and loss to balance sheets. Cashew has you covered. And there you have it. Cashew. Simple cloud accounting.
Now that you've had a chance to take a look at Cashew, I really want to drill in to the design process that we went through to build Cashew for these different devices. First off, you have to consider different devices serve different purposes. You know, in today's mobile-centric world, desktop, tablets, phones all take on different jobs throughout the course of the day. You know, phones are very personal devices that are with us all the time. They know who we are, they know where we are, and they can take a lot of information about our environment and use it to supplement that data that we're collecting. Tablets are also amazing devices. They've got touch interfaces, so you can drill down on information and manipulate it in ways that we've never thought of before. And of course, desktops aren't going away anytime soon. They're great for creating things, they're great for productivity applications. But I guess the key point here is that each of these devices is slightly better at doing certain things, and probably most important, not all features make sense on all devices. And that's a constraint that you need to recognize, is that in order to really build the best applications, you have to look at the context in which they're going to be used in. And that's going to bring me to my first point. So the first point is understanding context. People use products now in very different circumstances. They may be in the office, they may be in their car, they may be in a cafe, they may be in an airplane. And each one of these represents a different context in which the product is used. At Cashew, we looked at not only location, but we also looked obviously at the type of device that someone would be on, the time of day that they may be using it, and these could all be mapped back to specific tasks. And that meant that from an interface perspective, we could present both the information as well as the constraints that were most applicable for that particular context. So in order to make sense of this and to put some boundaries around everything, the second thing we did was define device groups. And there's a whole bunch of different devices, obviously with varying screen size, but it's possible to really control that and manage that by defining groups and base the tasks that the user is likely to focus on by the device capabilities. So we looked at smartphones, kind of the resolution and form factor around those. We looked at tablets, resolution, form factor around those, desktop PCs, and to a certain extent, as we extend that, we're now looking at things like the watch and even other things like CarPlay and systems that may be in an automobile, and to a certain extent, even a living room, and in the fact that, someone may want to present financial data or do something along those lines in a boardroom type situation. So we set these different device groups up: smartphones, tablets, desktops, watches, car systems, around different groups, and we started to map out, what were the capabilities of those devices in terms of interface, as well as what was the general screen size and resolution of that. Once we understood what the device groups were, the smartphone, the tablets, desktops, etc., we identified user goals for each one of those devices. For example, the smartphone, it's personal. They're used for one-off tasks such as taking a picture of a receipt, invoicing a customer, perhaps working offline to record things. Tablets can be shared, and they're great for things like reporting and interacting with those reports. So if you are meeting with your accountant, you're meeting with your business partner, you could look at financial reports, you could do analysis on that, drill down, and hand that other person that tablet. So we really wanted to create that sharing experience around that. The desktop. Well, the desktop is ideal for obviously doing a lot of data entry with a keyboard, but it's also good for tasks like setting up your business the first time, watching tutorials on how to use the product, creating your first chart of accounts, importing data, exporting data, those types of things. So again, we had this whole gamut of experiences from working with your smartphone through to working on your desktop, and each one of those device groups and individual devices were meant to accomplish different things. And as such, we customized the UI around each one of those devices to again offer up the things that were most relevant for what that person may be doing on that particular device. Our fourth point is around mobile first. Now you see, usually applications are designed first for the browser or the desktop and then ported over to a mobile device. At Cashew, we turned that upside down because we realized that if we could design something on a phone, then that would impose constraints which would help the focus and ultimately really simplify things as far as the overall user experience goes. When we're on the desktop, we're faced with really trying to solve so many different problems that involved different situations. Things like people setting up their business for the first time, importing, exporting, running in customized reports. Whereas when we took that mobile first approach, it really forced us to focus and understand exactly when, how, and ask questions around why someone was going to be using something, and design for that type of interaction. Really, designing for mobile really forces you to choose what matters most. And ultimately, I think that that gives a better end user experience. And it is all about. My fifth point is about the decision to either invest in building a native application or use responsive web design to build a web app that runs in a browser on your mobile device. Now, ultimately, for us at Cashew, we opted to build native devices, and it's something we feel pretty passionate about. And I think they each have different benefits and serve different audiences. But for us, what it came down to was ultimately users really prefer native applications. And there's a lot of usage studies around that from great companies like Flurry that talk about the amount of time that people spend in native applications on their mobile devices versus spend in the browser. And also consider that, in today's world, in many cases, the smartphone is really the primary computer that most people use. So the decision in investing in native applications is very important. And, I think ultimately what it comes down to is it's higher user engagement, it's a better overall experience. So native apps, of course, live on the deck or live on the home screen of the person's device. They could be used offline. That was really important for us at Cashew. So if you wanted to use Cashew, well, you didn't have an internet connection, you could certainly do that. Great for travelers, but also people in rural areas. And I think another key point around native applications is the fact that they take advantage of the device. So they can do things like use the GPS, send push notifications, reminders, integrate with the native applications like address book, calendar, etc. So overall, I think when you look at designing the experience, a native application is really critical. I think over and over again, people have proven that investing in that is a really wise decision and ultimately ends up in a lot higher user engagement and generally an overall smoother experience for the end user. My final point is about the ability and the necessity to sync across all devices and use the cloud as a backbone. So when people are using their smartphone, a tablet, desktop, etc., they expect that experience and certainly the data to be consistent across all devices, which means that if you make an update on your smartphone, that's going to be reflected instantly if you open up the application on your tablet, look at it through the browser on your desktop. So you've got to make sure that whether it's application settings, whether it's content, that everything is in sync, talking through the cloud to make sure that people are getting a consistent experience and consistent information from shifting from one device to another. Very, very important. It seems like a minor point, but in terms of engagement and trust, absolutely important to make sure that all of your data is in sync using the cloud through all of your devices. So there it is. These are the 6 factors that went into designing Cashew. In summary, you've got to understand the context in which your applications are going to be used. You've got to figure out which groups, whether it's smartphones, tablets, in-dash, car, desktop, but understand the groups that you're going to target and set goals for each one of those target platforms. Fourth, think mobile first. If you can design your application to work on the smallest device, guaranteed it will scale up from there. It's all about design constraints, focus, and simplicity. The 5th point, couldn't recommend going native more. I think in today's world, people have an expectation of a great user experience that's smooth, seamless, takes advantage of all of the great things on the device. So investing in a native application is very important. I think going browser, going cross-platform really sells the whole experience short. And the sixth point, and although it's subtle, and I debated even including it in there, but utilize the cloud to make sure that there is a seamless experience and a continuity across all of the devices. So make sure that you sync that experience, sync the data, and sync the context across all of the devices. From everyone at Cashew, I want to thank the organizers of the Business After Windows Conference. Great concept, and we're very happy to participate in this. If anyone has any follow-up questions or would like more information, included are my email and Twitter handle, and I look forward to connecting with people in the cloud. Thanks very much.